Hello Otterbein Youth and everyone watching this. Welcome to another Sunday School video for you. We're still looking at Amos's life and talking about the theme of immense this week and how God is calling you to immense things in your life and not to just settle for the easy stuff or things that are comfortable, but to really step out in faith and to find things that are big and wonderful and immense in your life that He may be calling you into. So this week our theme is from superficial sacrifice to authentic worship. And Amos addresses his people and how they are worshiping not in an authentic way. Amos does not really address the dangers of idolatry per se, but instead he focuses on the people's superficial, rehearsed, and self-centered worship. Amos reminds them that God desires something genuine and authentic, rather than worship that is hypocritical and full of fake self-righteousness. Oof, I know that I probably fall into that category or have fallen into that category of self-centered worship and something that is not authentic. So I wonder if you can think of yourself in that way, because that is relatable to us too. For our first scripture passage, we're going to read Amos 4, verses 4 to 5. What is Amos saying the people should do, and why do you think he is asking that? Do you ever think about the sin in your life when you worship? How does it affect you? The people are coming to worship, but Amos tells us that their worship is transgression and sin. Ouch. Why? Because their worship is about fulfilling the ritual while keeping sin in their lives. They're trying to do the act of worship without actually repenting and turning away from their sins. Offering a sacrifice with leaven, it says in the word, is a phrase that means offering worship that is sinful. The people of Israel were guilty of practicing worship and practicing sin at the same time. Next, we're going to read Amos 5, verses 4 to 5. You may have already thought about this, but what is your favorite place to worship the Lord? And you can't answer church for your answer. It has to be somewhere else. How do you worship the Lord in your ordinary life? So don't think about a mountaintop experience in your faith. Don't think about a retreat or maybe a Salt and Light event. What about just your ordinary day in and day out life? How do you worship Him? As we read here, Amos is telling his people not to go to their traditional place of worship, because worship is not about where you are. It's about whom you worship, and we're worshiping God. Bethel was where Jacob saw the heavenly ladder. Gilgal was where the people reconsecrated themselves before going into Canaan, and Beersheba was where Abraham called the Lord and Jacob had offered sacrifices before going to Egypt with his sons. All these places had been turned into something like resorts, and where people would go and worship because of what the places had meant in the past, and forgetting about what God wanted to do their lives currently. Lastly, we're going to read Amos 5, verses 21 to 24. Can you spot superficial worship on Sunday morning? And if you haven't been coming in on Sunday morning for worship, do you spot it in anyone in your life, in your family, in your friends, maybe in acquaintances, or even yourself? How do you define authentic worship? Imagine yourself trying to talk to your friend about their fake worship. That would be difficult because we've all practiced some pretty fake worship at some point along the way. Like I mentioned before, I know I have. Make it a goal to be so authentic in your worship that people would accept you holding them accountable for the way they worship. It's not about style, posture, volume, trends, or outward appearances. It's about the heart. This week, reflect on how you worship the Lord. Is it superficial? Is it only in one place? Is it coming from the right place in your heart? And are you working through the sin in your life? Thank you all for joining us today. I hope this was helpful in your walk with the Lord and just talking about authentic worship and what it looks like to be our true selves and our real selves as we worship God. And it's not about the place that we go or what it feels like or what we're wearing or how it looks. It's about our heart and where our posture is. Thanks. Love you guys. See you soon.